Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Peak Physique Podcast. The Peak Physique Podcast is a podcast for adults who want to get their fire back. The Peak Physique Podcast also has two missions: one, to deliver great information on wellness, and two, to deliver that great information in under 15 minutes. With that being said, let's jump into today's subject. So today's podcast is for anybody out there who's constantly battling sickness. Maybe it's also for somebody who's just getting over a major sickness. This podcast is also for anybody who's looking for a more holistic approach to taking care of their body and wellness overall. So, the title of today's podcast is Five Simple and Effective Ways to Stay Healthy During the Cold Season. Right now at the gym, Peak Physique, that is, where I train. A lot of people out with colds, flus, various things like that. And, it's just a normal cycle in the year. Typically see that happen when kids get back to school. People start getting a little bit more close together inside buildings and things just spread. And through the years, I've learned a couple of things that really have helped me avoid sickness. And I just want to share some of them with you, and hopefully, if you're somebody who's always getting sick, this will help you strengthen your immune system a little bit, and maybe not have to spend so much time ailing and trying to get over stuff and blowing your nose constantly, because it is really annoying. Um, when I lived in the dorms, my first year in college at Stout, I was constantly sick, and definitely found that the things that I was doing back then weren't helping me. And anyways, with that being said, let's jump into the five things that I want to discuss. Number one, the thing that's going to help strengthen your immune system and help you stay healthy during the cold season: supplement vitamin D, especially if you live in the northern hemisphere. Peak Physique, I'm sure you're listening from Wisconsin, but if you're not, Peak Physique's in Wisconsin, and there's very little sunlight between October and April, and typically people who don't supplement vitamin D in this region end up with readings near zero in their levels of vitamin D in their body at the end of the season near spring. And if your vitamin D levels are low, your immune system is compromised and definitely vulnerable to sickness. Supplementing vitamin D isn't as effective as actually getting vitamin D from being outside and absorbing it through the sun, or even getting through your diet, but it is definitely a way to bulletproof yourself from having a number that is near zero in your body. And again, that's just going to make your immune system stronger. There's a lot of different vitamin D supplements out there. I recommend looking for a supplement that provides at least 5,000 units of vitamin D. Um, don't ask me what the units mean. That's beyond my scope, but I've heard before that 5,000 units is a good number, especially if you're living in the northern hemisphere. So that's number one. Number two, address your stress and limit your negative emotions if you want to stay healthy during the cold season. Really hard to do. Stress is something that is just part of our lives, especially if you have kids, a busy, very involved job, or just ambitious goals in life. But everybody in the world can do more to address their stress. The best CEOs in the biggest companies know effective ways, and they're busier than all of us. Meditation is a good way to address your stress. Just kind of taking an inventory of how you live your life and what stresses you expose yourself to can help too. You can eliminate some of the things that maybe aren't necessary, like scrolling Facebook or any of the other social medias. If you're getting kind of a negative vibe from that, that's definitely not doing good things for immune system, and can leave you vulnerable to sickness. So look at that. I'm an amateur meditator, but I do it a lot. I try to do about 10 minutes 3 times a week. No, it's not the greatest, but it's a start, and it really does help me calm down. A lot of focus on breathing for me, because all too often when I'm living life, I'm breathing shallow, and I think that really just attributes to being stressed more. I feel like my shoulders rise up more and more the shallower my breaths are, but when I take a lot of deep breaths, things just kind of relax, and It's a good way to just kind of get out of that negative state. So again, if you want to stay healthy, address your stress and limit those negative emotions. Let's jump into number 3. This one's tough for us in Wisconsin, especially where it gets really cold, but you got to do your best to get outside when possible, especially daytime. You want to try and get some sunlight. I listen to a podcast sometimes called the Huberman Labs, and he mentions just constantly how important it is to get outside and actually let your eyes absorb the sunlight. So, no sunglasses on, as hard as that is when there's snow on the ground and the sun shining. You do get a little bit of absorption of vitamin D even in the wintertime by doing that. But it also wakes your body up and allows you to get into a normal sleep cycle, I think, when you're getting that natural sunlight. And also, if you're constantly indoors, if you're just going from your house to your car to your job, which is in, maybe a large office building, you're never actually breathing fresh air. It's all recycled air, and that's not good for your lungs. Your lungs are part of your whole system of your gut biome health. And if you're not breathing in fresh air, you're definitely toxifying that whole system in a way. So get out and breathe the fresh air when you can, even if it's cold. We got to live in this stuff anyway. Might as well get used to it. That's what I say. And you can dress for it too. Number 4 of the ways that you can stay healthy during the cold season. This one's a little bit unorthodox, especially if you're very traditional in this sense, but don't over medicate yourself. I go back to something that I learned when I was, or I shouldn't say learned, I met this guy when I was living in Eau Claire, working for a construction company called Luck Concrete. There's an old wise guy named Dan that worked there, and everybody really looked up to him, myself included. One day we were having a conversation, and at the time I was 21, and when we had this conversation, I thought he was a whack job. But as I've gotten older, I've realized there's a lot of truth to what he told me that day. But we were talking about, living a healthy life, and I think maybe I had a visit to the hospital that wasn't so good um, at that time. And he told me the last time that he was at a hospital was his birth. And mind you, this guy was in his 50s, and to me at that time was like, what? That's crazy. And he was very much in a way anti-Western medicine, but also very holistic. He grew all of his own vegetables. One of the things that all the guys at the company loved was that he'd share a lot of the things that he grew, and he'd meet everybody out at their trucks in the morning with some of the things that he'd harvest from his garden. But anyway, he was healthy and approaching his 60s and still doing concrete work, and he looked great. And he didn't believe in medicating. And as I've been in the business of fitness over the years, I've unfortunately noticed an anecdotal trend where people that I train who medicate themselves a lot tend to be the ones who get sick the most. Um, I think personally that probably has a lot to do with the amount of stress put on your gut health when you do medicate yourself a lot. So if you are taking antibiotics, that does have a negative impact on your gut health. And gut health is something that definitely helps you fight off things before they take hold in your body and make you sick, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the next number. But going back to not over medicating, what I mean by that is let your body, when possible, take the opportunity to win the battle with whatever you're fighting off. It does lead to long-term benefits. I think personally, I try not to take anything unless whatever I'm sick with is impacting my sleep, and I don't have the ability to sleep more than a few hours. Then I try to take something to at least give me some good hours of sleep, because that matters too. But um, again, just let your body take the opportunity to fight, because I think in the long run that builds up all those immunities in your gut health, in your gut, and just make you generally stronger that way. And with that being said, let's jump into number 5, which I kind of already got into. Be purposeful about strengthening your gut. So again, like I was just talking about, if you just went through a situation where you took an antibiotic, or perhaps you've taken antibiotics season after season for years now, your gut health probably isn't great. And again, that's probably why you're getting sick so much. You can do things naturally to strengthen your gut health. One thing that I do daily, and I think one of the big reasons why I don't get sick too often, knock on wood, is that I eat yogurt almost every day. I have Greek yogurt and blueberries every morning, and it's very, very good for probiotics, loaded with probiotics. Um, in a general sense, a probiotic is a good bacteria that's living inside of your gut. Um, this is well beyond my scope of knowledge, but in a general sense, you have bad bacteria in your gut, you have good bacteria in your gut. When the bad bacteria enters your gut, the good bacteria attacks it and stops it from manifesting and creating a bad situation where you might get a cold, you might get a flu, or anything like that. So, again, going back to what I was saying, being purposeful about strengthening your gut health, doing something like eating yogurt is going to help you in that way because you're adding those good bacteria to your gut by doing that. Another form of probiotic, very similar to yogurt, is kombucha. Kombucha is, it sounds gross, but if you've never tried it, I really recommend giving it a chance. I have, and I enjoy it. But it's basically a vinegar infused drink. Um, when you find different um, brands of kombucha, it really matters which one you choose, which flavor you choose. Some of them are gross, honestly, but some of them are pretty good. Personally, I've enjoyed any kind of berry infused kombucha because I like blueberries a lot, strawberries a lot, and that flavor really dulls the vinegar. But kombucha is loaded with good bacteria. Basically, you just drop it right down into your gut, and it takes its home there and helps fight off all those colds and viruses when they get into that area. Another good probiotic is kefir, and I got to be honest with you, not really familiar with this one. I haven't tried it myself, but from what I've read, it's very similar to milk. Got that creamy consistency, but it's again loaded with probiotics to help strengthen your gut. Get out there and try it. I guess now that I'm telling you guys about it, I'm obligated to give it a try. So I'll give it a try and see what it's like. If you're just somebody who uh, is not in the things I just listed off, another really effective way to boost your gut health is to just take a probiotic supplement. There's lots of them out there on the market. I always like the natural way the most, but again, if you're just not into those things that I listed or anything else out there that boosts your gut health, probiotic supplements is a quick way to get at least something in there and help strengthen it up. Anyways, those are the 5 ways that you can stay healthy this cold season. There are a lot more than these 5. I could go on for days on things that you could do to keep your health strong, but those ones are things that I do on the regular that really help me. Let's sum them up again. So, number 1, supplement vitamin D. Very easy to do. Get online or maybe go to the store and, do a little research and find a good, reliable vitamin D supplement. Number 2, address your stress, limit your negative emotions. Always a good thing to do, but also something that's going to benefit your health this cold season. Number 3, get outside when possible. Find a hobby, do something, but ultimately get outside, especially in the daylight, so you can absorb some of that vitamin D when it's hard to find. Number 4, don't over medicate. Let your body fight stuff off. If it's losing the battle, help it out. But if you're not losing sleep and it just needs a few days to pass through, let your body do it. It's going to make your body stronger in the long run. Number 5, and most importantly, be purposeful about strengthening your gut. Go back and listen to those things I had mentioned before about how you can do that and be purposeful about it. It will help you. I don't want you getting sick all the time and missing your workouts, and this is a good way to do it. Anyway, I hope you guys have found this helpful. If you have, please share with people out there so they can get a little bit healthier this cold season. And if you're interested in working with me or just working at Peak Physique in general, you can email me. My email is in the description section. And if you email me, I'll be back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for listening. Have a great one.